Man, I love technology. Don't you? Come on. Come on. It's an opportunity to be challenged, to grow, right? What's that?
I said also to isolate.
Also to isolate? Oh, technology is a good chance to isolate?
Yeah.
Wow. So I haven't seen everybody for a while. I've been away. So how is everyone?
Great. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, you know. My daughter's graduated high school.
Yeah.
We've been promming it up. Yeah. We had a bunch of people at our house, and then we went to the high school, and I think Leslie was at the dance all night doing some stuff there, probably checking in on the kids. No, she wasn't. She was volunteering. No. But yeah, it's been good. And now we're sitting there going, now what are we going to do with the rest of our lives? Yeah, that's going to happen. So there's this group of students with their guru. And they say, Master, what did you get as a result of enlightenment? What did enlightenment give you? And the guru thinks about it for a moment. And he says, well, I'll tell you what it gave me. When I eat, I eat. When I listen, I listen. And when I look, I look. And that's what enlightenment gave me. Oh, and if I turn my mic on, whoa! There we go. I'll start that over. No, you all heard it. You all heard it. And his bewildered disciples replied back, but everybody does that. Everybody does that. And the guru starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. Well, if everybody does that, then they're all enlightened. The challenge is not everybody does that, do they? How often do we do that? Just a show of hands. How often are you consciously eating, looking, hearing, like all the time? No. So if you were to average it out, let's say, how about 70% of the time? Okay, a few of you think 70% of the time. Okay, how about 50% of the time? Yeah, a lot more in the 50. And this isn't like good or bad, right? It's just a noticing that, oh, might be something I want to work on. And how about less than 50? Anybody? Yeah? Yeah? And I would say that some weeks for me, it's less than 50% of the time. And then sometimes it's a lot more than that. It kind of fluctuates depending on what's going on in our lives, right? Sometimes it's hard to get, I like the term getting off of it. You know, when you get on it, you get on about something, something's triggered you, somebody's bothered you, something happened out in the world, and you're just on it. And it's like, I am going to stew on this thing. You're not consciously thinking I'm going to, but you just somehow do. Unless you take the time to notice that, oh, hey, wait a second. There's something else I could be doing here. I came across a quote from Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a theologian. And it reminded me, too, of Buddhism, because I would think that this is true for both. He said that Jesus calls us not to a new religion, but to life. And I would say that everything I've read on both sides of that, the Buddhist practices, the Jesus teachings, they are both calling us to life. And lately, I've come to the idea that, when I think of the word God now, I've actually now think of it as just life itself. That is what God is. It's not something outside of me. It's part of me. It's around me. It's rolling through me. It's above me, below me, it's in everybody I see, it's in all things. That to me is life. And so if I'm going to worship God, I guess, if I'm going to put it in those terms, really what I'm inviting myself to do is to really take on life, to really take responsibility for my life, how I show up, how I react to things, what I think people should be. Anybody have any thoughts about what people might do better? Just, possible, right? It's possible to go there, isn't it? You would be so much better if, oh, I have an idea. I know what you could do. Right. But maybe we should take that for ourselves, for our own responsibility. What could I do better? What could I do differently? What could I take on? What spiritualness could I bring into my life that would allow my life to be raised up? I was thinking about this the other day, this idea of my highest good. Anybody use that term in their prayers? For my highest good. Yeah, right? You've heard it a lot, especially in unity speak. Affirmative prayers is that, all this shows up for my highest good. Well, where is your highest good? Because if your highest good internally, mentally thinking is way down here, then that highest good isn't going to be very much, is it? It's not some arbitrary thing out there when I hear that term, for my highest good. Well, what is your highest good? What does that look like for you? What does that even mean if you're going to use that term? Are you doing things to determine your own creation of life? That highest good could keep elevating and elevating, moving up the ladder. All these challenges, like for me, technology seems to be showing up a lot for me right now to challenge me. And it's a growth, I look at it as a growth opportunity. How can I manage this in a way that it works really well for unity? Because that's sort of where my focus is on technology right now. We're trying to figure out coming into this new building. And for me, it's a day-to-day exercise in thinking about this. What pieces do we need to make this better? What can I bring in to elevate myself so that I could lead better, communicate better with people, get better results? And I could be looking at it like, what could all of you be doing, or what could other people be doing, or what could that person be doing? But really, that then takes the power out of my hands, right? I'm now putting it over in somebody else. And I'd rather live from a place of power around that, which is, what could I be doing? How could I serve better? From Charles Fillmore, we get from the Revealing Word, the order of creation is from the formless to the formed, from the invisible to the visible. This goes on perpetually, and there is never a beginning or an ending to the process. So that speaks to me of mind action. We think of something, it becomes, that's the formless part. It's an idea in our imagination, it's a thought. That's the formless. And then we work, if it's something that inspires us, to make it formed into the world. And it doesn't mean it's over now. That's just a perpetual cycle of us thinking, manifesting, thinking, manifesting, thinking, manifesting. And so if you believe that, which I do, so that for me is a belief system within me, then if that's something you believe, if you look at that and go, hey, that kind of makes sense, that what I'm thinking about, everything's created twice, right? Somebody thinks about it, and then it's created in the world. There first has to be a thought for it. Well, if that's true, then whatever we're thinking becomes important. Yes? Like so then if that's true, then it's incumbent upon us, in my mind, to manage what we're thinking, to actually be intentional with our thinking, to even notice when we're going down anybody gone down a rabbit hole a couple times? Like, right? How long? How many days? What's your record? What do you think your record is for how many days going down the rabbit hole of something? Like, no, think about it. You might get a really good laugh out of it, right? You might be like, oh man, there was this time, it was weeks that I was in this place. And maybe now you can laugh at it, but back then it was probably a crisis of some kind. And imagine if we could, in those moments, if we could have gotten off of it, right? Had the tools, had the system in place, had the way of noticing that we could actually step outside, kind of like the observer, like look and go, oh, look at what I'm doing right now. Has anybody ever done that? Just kind of stood back and gone, wow, who's that person? And here's the thing, though. We don't want to just do it when it's like a bad cycle. We want to do it when it's good, too. We want to notice when we're actually doing things that are in service, that are, back to that term, our highest good. Right? If we do that, then we can actually maybe replicate that and go, oh, when I do that, I feel really good about my life, and I feel calm, and I don't have anxiety, and I'm not in crisis, and I'm not having confrontation with others. So maybe I want to do more of that. And then we notice, well, when I do that stuff over there, it gets kind of messy. And I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I want to find this piece here from Anthony DeMello. Sorry, I have so many notes today. Anyhow, I'll go off my memory of it. Anyhow, Anthony DeMello, I don't know if you all know who Anthony DeMello is. I can't give you a bio on him. I just know he's no longer with us. But he was Indian background, Hindu origins, became a Jesuit priest. And so he kind of melds those two worlds together when he speaks. And it's amazingly powerful to listen to him. So I was listening to a YouTube video the other day, and he says, I love this, he says, hey, face it, your life is a mess, right? Just face it, your life is a mess. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Because we've been raised with these ideas and perceptions of how we're supposed to show up and how we're supposed to do this thing that we're doing, right? And it's trained in us when we're little. And then when we realize that, then we spend the rest of our life trying to back that truck up and get out of that space of all of those things. And that's when it's messy. Right? When we're actually aware that, oh man, I could be doing things way differently. And then the scramble is on. Like, how do I do that? And then life looks really messy from that perspective. And it's easy to sort of get down on ourselves when we're in that, right? It would be easy to look at ourselves and kind of, give up, surrender. And that is what there is to do, though, right? Is to actually surrender to it and go, oh, it's okay. I'm just gonna be with it and allow ourselves to really feel and experience that, yeah, my life is messy sometimes. And it's okay. And I am open and willing to have that shift. And so what do I need to do? And this is what prayer really is. It's not asking for something out there to come and save you. Prayer is really noticing where you're at and where you're not at. And really being in the silence of that and allowing what there is to come in. And that becomes a creative force where we now can determine what it is we're going to do. And sometimes you might not do it. Anybody that? You get these if I could just do that. And then, for me, it's like, but the Stanley Cup playoffs are on. I could watch them instead. It's my kryptonite. That and potato chips. Anybody else potato chips? Is there any potato chip fans here? Yeah. We should start a club, the Unity Potato Chip Club. Are you in? Friday nights we get together and with whatever flavors we want, and we just indulge on potato chips till we've had enough. I'm thinking, if we did it every Friday, we'd probably get sick of it. We would heal ourselves of the potato chip need. So we have within us this mind. It is the great arbiter of our life. And so it's so, I don't know why I keep talking about this. I guess because I don't get it yet. Maybe I just don't fully believe it. I need to keep talking about the fact that we have the power to create our lives however we want them to go. And it takes work, though. And I don't like to use the word work, because if you fall into the practice, I like that, fall into it. If you fall into the practice of meditation, of doing prayer and meditation every day, it's no longer work. It's actually something that I require. Like I don't feel good in the morning until I've had that moment. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 3 minutes of just consciously knowing right now I am taking this time out. I got a bunch of stuff to do, but I'm not going to start anything until I get this done first. This is like the number one thing that allows me to then set my day. Everything else can come at me after that, and I'm okay. I can manage it. But if I haven't done that and stuff starts showing up, I'm kind of scattered. And that is the power to create. That is us determining our very own creation of life. It takes the power out of anybody else and puts it firmly in our shoes. And then, pardon my English, the shitstorm can come after that. But at least you've grounded yourself in something. And that's a much better place to operate from. That is like setting up your highest good. And you can use any practice. You can, speak to Buddha, you can speak to Jesus, you can speak to God, the universe, whatever you want. There's no rules. There's nobody that's going to come in and check mark stuff. I don't think you're doing this right. Right? And maybe you need somebody to assist you. Maybe guided meditations are a help. And there's plenty of places you can find guided meditation. And then maybe you move off of that later and you begin to just sit in the silence because you've gained that muscle of meditation and prayer practice. The Buddha said the world is full of sorrow, and the root of sorrow is, anybody? Attachment, yes. The root of sorrow is attachment. Even when we're looking for our highest good, if we're attached to the way it's supposed to look, watch out, because it'll pass you by then. That gift that you were asking for, that presence that you were requesting, that place that you were standing for something better, some highest good in your life, if you're attached to the way it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to show up, you're going to miss it. The idea is to be open. Make the request, let it go. Right? Just let it fly away. It's no longer your concern. You do have to act, though. We can't just sit on the sofa on Friday nights eating potato chips, treating like every day is Friday night. We can't do that if we want stuff in our lives. We actually have to move What is that saying? Pray and move your feet. Treat and move your feet. It rhymes. Treat and move your feet. So, is there anything else? Did I miss anything? I think one of my favorite lines is, I'd have written a shorter speech if I had had more time. I think, so this also comes from Anthony DeMello. God is nothing like what we say God is, and is nothing like what we think God is. So if you find yourself trying to define the divine, trying to define spirit, you're hooped. We do not have the mental capacity to actually define it. It's the one place where I would say you can throw out language. Because as soon as you put a limit on it of anything, you've missed it. There is no definition. And maybe that's where religion has gone wrong for so long, is trying to put it into a box and say that it's this thing, or, anybody when they were a kid, did you ever do this? My dad's better than your dad. Does anybody remember this? Yeah, I remember that. Like, you'd fight somebody over whose dad was better or whose mom was better. Well, that's kind of like what's happened with God, right? Like, my God's better than your God, right? Mine's the right God, yours is the wrong God. Let's do away with that and just understand that there is no defining that. There is no words in any language that anybody could speak that would actually put a definition on it. And I think in the early Hebrew scriptures, they don't say the word for anything for God. It's like blasphemy to try to even pronounce a word for God, because there is no defining that. So if you're looking for something to pray and meditate on, just try that. Letting go of anything that would define the divine, and be open to it showing up as all things, in all things, all the time, everywhere, all at once. That's what that is. And even that doesn't do it justice.